on, you're new to UCF this spring. You're just going through your first week plus of spring practice. How's it gone so far?
It's been awesome, man. It's been 100 miles an hour. The way Coach Frost organizes, runs things. It's here for guys to work and for us to move and develop and to grind and take steps forward. Players, coaches, the offense, the offensive line. So the tempo at which we've worked has been a lot of fun. And a lot of things going on since getting here just in 3 months, but settling in with these guys and excited about where it's headed.
Can you explain your philosophy, maybe, your coaching philosophy?
Yeah. And it's funny, as Scott and I first started talking and Coop and was, looking for a guy, it came from an Iowa guy that we run off the football and we want to run what we call it the slant play, the wide zone, the outside zone. There's all the names for it, but it's a style of play, and we want to go through people, not around people. And I think there's an athletic ability that ties to that, but there's also an understanding of we still have to move the line of scrimmage. I think in this day and age you see a lot of wide zone that just runs right and runs left, and hope the back makes a cut. And so we really want to identify and move the line of scrimmage where we can, take advantage of leverage. So we're going to be athletic and run off the football. And we're going to be stout in our pass protection, use our play actions to help us out.
Coach,
what made UCF the right job for you?
Well, I think, opportunity, and it's that whether it's a player or a coach, it was, I just went through everything at Wisconsin, and Scott and I, Grinch and I had been together and worked together. A bunch of people from Coach Frost's past or guys I played with and his close friends. So there'd always known of each other a little bit, and I think what he was looking to do here really fit what I like to do. And so I think when pieces fell together, it worked out. And I've known Terry for a little bit over the years, just through the profession. So it was a good fit for the people, which makes the place awesome.
As in years past, after spring, units were broken up a little bit, then you had to get your final pieces. You have all your final pieces now. How beneficial is that for an offensive line?
Well, I think it's huge. I think that the way the calendar is now it's never perfect for everybody, but I think the fact that you have what you have going into spring ball. So I went through 4 injuries a year ago, played 3 freshmen, but you have all spring to figure out who your backups are, who's the next guy, who's the third center in that day when, hey, a shoelace breaks and a finger gets broken. Well, who's that next guy? And so we can count on it. They're not leaving us. We're not moving on looking for new pieces. You have all the parts, so you got to figure out what you're good at and how they fit together, which to me, putting that puzzle together is a fun part of spring ball.
What is the most important thing you're trying to accomplish this spring?
I think the biggest thing that we need to accomplish is one, a work ethic, just a way we go about our work. And then number 2, we got to get 8 to 9 guys that we know can play for us. And you want your starters, but this day and age in college football, you're not going to have 5 guys go through a whole season. It's happened twice in 24 years of coaching that I've been a part of. And it takes a lot of luck to do that, and I ain't going to count on luck. So 6, 7, and 8 are just as important as 1, 2, and 3 in the O-line.
Coach, a guy in Preston Cushman, he was a starter last year. Comes back, he's the only starter coming back. What have you seen of Preston so far this camp, and what do you think of his potential moving forward?
Yeah, I think with Preston, the thing I noticed right away is you walk in the room and the stature. You come from the Big Ten. I've been in the SEC. I've played junior college. I've coached Division II. I've not been in the Big 12. Grew up in the Big 12. Seen it on tape. But you get here and you're like, Preston's a big ass kid now. That's what they're supposed to look like. But his leadership, he's a smart kid, he's from the area, he takes pride in the place. He had opportunities to lead like everybody in this portal stuff. He wants to do something here, so as a coach, it makes a lot of fun to buy in with guys that want to be a part of it. So his leadership's been the biggest thing, and then he's got a desire to be really good. A lot of guys want to play in the NFL. He does all the little stuff from he operates his lifestyle, his health, his sleep, his nutrition. He whatever you give him, he's taking it and listening. So I think that's the biggest thing as an example.
He mentioned to us that he talked about what some of the things he learned from you really quickly was about his body language on the field, even the practice field. If something happens, he puts his head down or his hands down. How you would get on him about that, maybe more so than the technique. Is that kind of what philosophy is maybe for guys in leadership roles?
You do, and I'm different than a lot of coaches. A lot of people, it's easy to coach that third string guy really hard when he screws up. Well, he's a third string guy. He's learning. You coach the older guys on really little pieces. Those young guys are like, man, I got so much to still learn. They get the coaching and they can grow. Cush can handle it. Meadows can handle it. Those older guys can handle that. And so the detail part with him, every one of them got something different. His is those guys feed off him. If you're going to be the leader, they just look at you. Oh man, here we go. Or oh, Cush is nervous. What's he nervous? Why? What am I missing? So they're going to feed off your body language, no different than a coach, and your energy. And if I just come out here and stand all day, it's just you're going to be probably standing around players too.
Coach,
So it's
Sorry, Coach, Center is a competition this spring.
Yeah.
You bring in Cooper Terpstra out
Yep.
of the pool from Michigan State. I know he didn't have a ton of experience. And again, Jacob Maeva, who's been here and coming back. Just kind of talk about that competition and what you've seen from those two guys.
Well, center, obviously I played it, but it's a different world after my previous. I mean, a year ago I went through 4 centers, so I look at the thing completely different. And we have a couple centers, battling, getting all the reps for that starting spot. But it's that next guy. It's Camp Lott. It's a position change for a young guy. Has a skill set, needs to learn a lot about the position, but he's soaking it up. But then you also have Connor Meadows played some center for us. Brady Wayburn's playing some center for us because they've got it in their bag of tricks. And so if we're in a game, we're not going to come up short there. Terp is he started, I get one official start a year ago, played a good amount off and on throughout the year. So you could see what he knew. He's going to be a 4th-year player next year. It's in his, I think, redshirt junior year. So he's been around a lot of good football. And when we look at the portal, we try to find guys that came from good O-line coaches. And there's a bunch of ways to do it, but what we're asking them to do, the skill set's already in them a little bit, the understanding's there a little bit, and I think it's helped all 4 of those guys pick up and move faster. So he's settling in, and then Jacob Maeva is an athletic, he's way ahead of what I thought he would be from the way the guys described him. He's athletic. He is the energy of the O-line. I really feel that at times. So he could be a glue guy that if all's equal, and he becomes the guy. So as they're battling, that's the fun part for me. It's probably the truest. And our left tackle battle is pretty good. You got Henry's over there, and Owen Spell's having a good spring.
Coach, last year UCF had their troubles with penalties. Your last 2 years with Wisconsin, they were in the top 10 least penalized teams in the country. What part of your coaching kind of helps minimize those kinds of penalties, and how can you bring that to Orlando?
I think it goes back to mindset again. We talked about body language. If you got a bounce to you, you may miss a block. You're going to move on to the next one and get it right. If you got bad body language and you miss it, you're going to pout about it, and you're going to be behind and miss the next one. I look at cadences and procedural stuff. Those are all our advantage. Like if we have all the indicators, we have colors, we have numbers, we have code words, that if I get when I played, it was like, it's on 2, we're not jumping. Well, all you hear is, we're not jumping. Jump, jump. It's in the kid's head, it's an echo. If it's on 2 or it's on one of our mixed cadences, they're sitting there and I want them waiting for the guy to jump. Like they're looking for them. They're on the offensive to take advantage of it. And I think when you just change the mindset of that and then how it helps you guys, oh wow, it really does slow his rush down. We're not the most talented group anywhere I've ever been. But if we can be the smarter group that plays a little harder, all that stuff neutralizes and you can take over. So I think it's a mindset is how you change it.
Wayburn might have gotten overshadowed a little bit at UConn by the 2 tackles. What do you feel like he's bringing to the guard and into the interior?
He is like a hammer. Like that's what he is. A hammer doesn't make a lot of noise, but it hits you, right? And like he's big, he's strong, he's thick. The running stuff, he ran a lot of wide zone at UConn, which we knew he could do that. But to get him here and see how strong he is has been the impressive part. So he's a guy that you get him and Meadows in there, they're gonna be able to set some edges, I think, as we go.
What do you like about coaching?
I'm 18 to 22 for the last 25 years. I thought about it yesterday. When I was a young coach, I was closer to their age. Some of those guys still come around practice a lot. I was probably viewed different. Probably the last 10 years, I'm kind of more of a dad. I got dad jokes, and so the relationship's more of a dad or uncle. But just being with the guys, man, they keep you young. And my wife, my 4 kids, they love it. They're at our house. They're around. We live 4 minutes from here. That this is our family, and I get to be outside and I get to run around at recess every day. Like that's what practice is.
Can you expand more on that left tackle competition? You said Tavon's against Spell. You said Spell's having a good spring.
Yeah.
Just kind of what's that battle like with those 2 guys?
Yeah, it's unique. I talked about playing 8 guys. So that 6th guy is probably obviously the most ready to step in. Just because he's been at left tackle, I think Henry, since we put the shoulder pads on, you've seen his physicality come out. He's a pretty reserved personality. He's opened up. He's a pretty funny guy when you get around him and a jokester, but he keeps a lot in. You put those shoulder pads on, he's a different guy. So he's risen his level. I think Owen's helped him do that faster. Whether Owen goes in and I can spell Cush a little bit. We put Owen at some guard the last couple days because if we move one of those guards to center, Owen. So I'm just messing with the pieces. Literally every day I'll have one guy move because I think opportunity. If kids know there's an opportunity, they show up every day because it might be theirs. If it's just the same every day and hey, I'm with the 3s, and they start to kind of lose interest. And so we're moving a guy every day. In the spring and the fall, we'll really start to lock it in with losing.
You mentioned some of the relationships you've had. Did you have any relationship with Sean Clark, or have you built one with his family?
You know what's funny is yeah, Sean and I, when I was a student coach my first year at Iowa, so 2001, I came down here. Art Kehoe used to do some down and dirty camps over here at Weber International. And Sean I met, the first time I ever met him, with tons of coaches came down at that time. Art was kind of a guy that was ahead in some of the coaching, but those camps were known as physical 3-day wars. And so as coaches, you work camp all day and you enjoyed yourselves at night a little bit. It was a bunch of line guys, O&D line coaches. We were probably the most, I don't know, ornery is probably the word, but we cut loose a little bit and had some fun. So I got to know Sean there, followed him through his journey, stayed in touch a little bit. And then when he got the head job at App, I was at North Dakota State. I'd been there 2 years, and we had reconnected down at the convention, him and his offensive staff. And, it was a place I wasn't ready to leave, North Dakota State at that time. But we spent probably 2 or 3 hours talking about some of the wide zone insert play. Because you take the little bit of that Iowa background of run game, and he was doing more insert, and we were both line guys. So we had stayed in touch over the years. And, I texted him when I first heard that he'd gotten sick, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know the family, because I think my 8th grade daughter and his son are in class together, and really it's kind of a cool deal, and looking forward to meet him and just keep their family a part of everything that's going on here.
Coach, when we were talking to Preston, I believe he talked about how impressed he was with Kasai Charlton, one of the true freshman offensive linemen. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like working with him, bringing him into the fold, and what maybe we could see out of him this season?
Yeah, I think you're going to see Kasai be a guy to push to be 9 or 10 or 11. Like, he's on that, where am I at? Guys, this day and age, true freshmen, they're as important as anybody. And when you have a room of 18 guys, everybody has a different want-it level. This kid wants it. And he's probably behind in speed of the game. He's probably behind in, like, football IQ. High school to college is such a big jump. But he probably comes in to see me and meet me, and he wants to talk and watch film more than anybody else. So it's like there's a catch-up mode there. And the 1-2 is what you like to coach. You're going to play the guys I trust, because I want the other 4 guys to trust the guys that are in there. So he's got a lot to learn still, and the speed, but man, he's done a really good job as a young guy.
What's your preferred mix of high school recruits and transfer portal?
It changes so much right now as the rules change. I'd say in a great year right now, you have 3 high school guys and 1 or 2 transfers, depending on what our number is to take. 65%, 67% high school, because you still want to develop guys. And you look at this, the financial side of it. If you go out and just take transfers every year, you have 7 guys. Those guys, none of them are coming here to play scout team, to develop, to get better. So you look at a program, you got to have high school guys that are coming in to develop, that know they're not coming in for whatever umpteen NIL dollars that the world is now, or whatever the market is. They're coming in to learn. Yeah, they're going to get a little something. That's part of the game. But it's you bring in developmental guys here that can run. You put the weight on them with Duval, and by that they know the system and they play really fast. Very few freshmen are playing anywhere in America. I don't care how good they are coming out. It's all relative. So I still like as many of the high school kids to develop as I can, but you can't just count on them. And we talked about earlier, you can't go, hey, it's January, that's all I got. But you got to be aware of 9 months from now, what are we taking into battle? What kind of bullets do we got?
Coach, you bring in 4 people, 4 linemen through the transfer portal. What were you most looking for? Any unique traits?
Guys that had run wide zone before. Some of the guys didn't throw the ball very much. But what we're going to ask them to do a lot, they got to have had a feel for it. Because it's a play that you can't just take from scratch and have never done it. So the number one thing for me was probably schematic, fundamental, and then who coached them.
Some of these guys are people who didn't have so many opportunities at the previous school.
Yep.
Does that urge to compete excite you?
It does. You don't have, you walk in here, I'm at Wisconsin, we didn't have a 100-yard indoor field. People don't look at us. We didn't have a 100-yard grass field to practice on. It's like 65 yards. So when you go to develop a transfer, he don't care about all the makeup and the logo. Where am I going to get better? And most of them their goal is still, where am I getting to the league? Well, where's every pro go in the winter? I was in the Big Ten a long time, whether it was Rutgers or Wisconsin or Iowa, they go south. Some California, some Arizona, some Florida, to train, because you're outdoors, you're on grass, and your body stays intact. When you're indoors and on turf all the time, it bangs up. So I get an opportunity to come here. Transfers get to come here. You're in a training facility to go to the NFL, and you're playing in an NFL offense. It's a pretty appealing deal to older guys that are done with the logo chasing.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Appreciate you guys. Thanks all so much.